Welcome back to CTV Morning Live, our Ask the Expert segment with Auger Hollingsworth. Brenda Hollingsworth is joining us right now. And listening to some of the questions that have come in over the commercial break, you take a deep sigh, and it really affected me. And at the same time, you said, this is my day-to-day.
That's right. There's some sad stories out there. And, getting financial compensation is a small part of a very difficult process. Accidents impact people in ways that, unless you've had one, you can't imagine. Every aspect.
Every aspect of your life, and it trickles down into family life, into work life, into so many things. And I mean, you must find joy. I would assume that there is joy at the end of the day, hopefully, when you are able to help people with this.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I do this whole thing so that there's that day when I give the check, right? And that does make people feel better. Maybe not physically, but at least knowing. A lot of times, it's a parent who can't take their kid to soccer anymore and that kind of thing, knowing that you could pay someone to do it makes a huge difference. Or, you could send your child on a vacation. It really does provide some comfort.
Absolutely. Okay, and you'll understand this conversation when we start to read off some of the questions that have come in. So hopefully, I do believe we have the question. Our first question that we're getting to is from Juanita on Facebook. And so I'll try to get through this. My husband was in an accident with his transport truck back in November. There was a woman that tried to commit suicide and ran into him. We've been told by 2 different police officers that we should sue her for mental anguish since he almost quit driving altogether. Is that something that can be done? He was not physically hurt and she lived, but the truck and her vehicle were both write-offs.
So there's a couple of different issues in here. First of all, if he's driving a transport truck, is it possible that there is WSIB coverage for his psychological injury? That would be the first place that I would look, because in a situation where you're not physically hurt, that's probably the easiest route. I'm not a WSIB expert, but I'd certainly look into that. The second thing is, how long ago did this happen? If you are potentially going to bring a claim, you have 2 years to do it. So you want to make sure that you're on that. They didn't say.
November.
It was November.
So, yeah, but I don't know how many.
Yeah,
hopefully last November.
Yeah, probably. If it's November 2011, you want to be on it, because you can issue a claim at the last minute, but it's better if you have more lead time. So if it's a year ago, you're good, but don't wait much longer. In terms of mental anguish, that itself isn't really a term that we compensate for, but a lot of people, what they actually have is something like post-traumatic stress disorder or depression. And those are definitely injuries that can be compensated for. So there may well be some compensation in that situation. But I would look to the WSIB first in that situation, because it may be easier.
Hopefully there's some avenues right there for Juanita to follow. I do believe we're going to a phone call right now, and Mark is on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
What is your question for Brenda?
Our son was killed September 9, 2010 on Highway 31 by a drunk driver. The girl had no license, no insurance, nothing. So we went through our insurance,
right,
which gave us a minimum. And my wife didn't want to struggle and fight with the insurance companies, and she just wanted to end it. So she took the easy way out. Now she's going through a stressful time where she can't work. She's supposed to be working part-time, and they're forcing her to work full-time. She's actually got a letter from a doctor that says she shouldn't be working full-time, but they're still pushing her. Her psoriasis are getting bad. Like, she's at the end of her rope. I don't know, like, is there any other alley to go to? Or because we signed off after the 2 years, are we sort of done? Or I just don't know what to do.
Right. Well, there's 2 pots of money in an accident case. One is the accident benefits that we've been talking about, and the other is suing the person who caused the accident. I'm not sure which you signed off on, or maybe you signed off on both. It is very difficult to reopen a situation once it has been released. If you've settled, you always have to be sure, because it's very difficult to undo that. But if you settled your claim with the insurance for the at-fault part and left your accident benefits open, I would go back to the accident benefit adjuster and see if there is a loss of income, an income replacement benefit that could be paid. It's difficult. I do note also that it's, again, we're outside the 2-year period there. September 2010 is just over 2 years. So in terms of what's available, it's going to be tough.
Mark, I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, it's a horrible story. Is there any aspect or avenue going down with the employer to, once, I mean, they have a medical note,
Yeah.
this is an employee that you can deal with things within the employer?
Yeah, I mean, that was the other thing that triggered to me, is that she should consider a consultation with an employment lawyer. You don't have to sue your employer. You just need to know what your rights are, and an employment lawyer will offer a consultation. Not all employment lawyers offer free consultations, but you could certainly get an inexpensive session with a lawyer to explain what your rights are. Most employers have a duty to accommodate to a point. You know, where that point is depends on the industry, depends on the circumstances.
And time as well.
Yeah, time is also an issue.
Some great information. I'm sorry we couldn't get through all of the questions. They're very sensitive materials with them as well. You can always ask Brenda. You can check out everything on the website, askbrenda.ca. The company, the law firm is called Auger Hollingsworth. Brenda Hollingsworth there to be able to take your calls, answer your questions. Askbrenda.ca is their website. Always a pleasure to have you on Ask the Expert.
Thanks a lot.
We still have plenty more to come here on CTV Morning Live, so stay with us. We're back after the break.
As I'm going through my day, nothing could take this smile from my face. Where the sun